So the fact that you was like, oh, I'm gonna swing and uppercut him, it might be slow, but I still got that weight on me. What's good, YouTube? What's good, potential? What's good, sneaky game? How y'all doing? Hey, I hope y'all been sneaking and creeping, staying healthy and wealthy, have emotional flowing like the ocean. If you don't know, now you know. Check the tape, man.
I'm the only one now let outdo me. I got hoes by the crew trying to do me. My life like a movie, get hit in the water. Don't got put in no work, I in order. This shit ain't got serious to me, it's come plural. I'm even.
Hey, we gonna be doing what now? Another reaction video. We gonna be reacting to Steve Harvey just crashed out on Shannon Sharpe. Badly laughing my A off. But hey, man. Shannon Sharpe, man, you've been gone out of the internet beef for some time. But hey, I don't know what you're in this one for. But hey, let's get to the clip and stay tuned for what I finished at the end. Get into it.
It looks like Steve Harvey still hasn't forgiven Shannon Sharpe for giving Katt Williams a platform to diss him. So Steve Harvey was on the Pivot podcast earlier this week, and on the podcast, he called Shannon Sharpe disloyal and clickbaity in so many words. So Steve Harvey is still upset that the Katt Williams and Club Shay Shay interview did about 90 million views and counting. Is the most watched interview in YouTube history. And Katt Williams in that interview, for a large chunk of it, is calling Steve Harvey disloyal, calling Steve Harvey a snake, making accusations that Steve Harvey snaked a couple of his friends. Is not a good look for Steve Harvey at all. And Steve Harvey knows he could do 1 million interviews up until his death, correcting whatever Katt Williams said on that interview. But the interview just did so many views that it don't matter like how many interviews Steve Harvey do, it would never reach the audience that Katt Williams reached when Katt Williams was going off on him. So here's what Steve Harvey had to say on the Pivot podcast about Shannon Sharpe.
Y'all got a podcast and you're doing it brilliantly. Please don't stop doing the way you do. See, the problem with people is they get something that work and then they want to find something that work better. You ain't got to fix it if it ain't broke. See, I'm on radio for real. I have a real radio show. I have the #1 adult contemporary show, 25 to 54 in America. The Steve Harvey Morning Show. I'm in 112 markets. I got 9 million listeners. I'm controlled by FCC rules. The problem is, these people go get these podcasts who have no FCC rules to abide by. But you have to remember, even though you're on a podcast, you still got a brand. Yeah. And so you can't say what you want to say and expect to be relevant and not get canceled. You can't have a podcast and the way that you think you can make money is on clicks and views at the expense of others and not expect to have to pay the expense. You can't have a podcast and light me up and don't expect to get lit up. You can't have a podcast, let somebody come on your show and talk about your friends.
So obviously that's a reference to Shannon Sharpe. Now he makes it more obvious later on by just outright saying Shannon Sharpe's name, but he's referring to what Katt Williams said about him on Shannon Sharpe's podcast. If you guys forgot, well, let me remind you what Katt Williams had to say about Steve Harvey on Club Shay Shay.
The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and then he gets this high top fade.
So wait. This happened like months ago. And you're just barely right now responding back? Bro, it's too late. The beef is over with then. What the hell are you getting mad for? You should have responded as soon as you heard the interview. You should have responded within 2 weeks. You know how many months this has been? And you're responding now? You lost, buddy. You lost. What? For real, you lost.
Making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit.
What made this Katt Williams interview so potent for a lot of Katt Williams enemies is because whatever Katt Williams said, you could do a quick Google search and figure out he wasn't lying. Because when Katt Williams said this about Steve Harvey, all people had to do was just pull up what Mark Curry said about Steve Harvey not so long before.
So what's up with you and Steve, man?
Ain't nothing with me. Well, Steve stole my material on his show, so I had a beef on that.
On what show?
When he was on his the bullshit talk show he had, and he did all my Halloween material one Halloween. I'm watching. Somebody called me and said, "Man, homeboy doing your material." So he did my whole Halloween run. And I know he didn't think of it. You know, this is true stuff that really happened to me. And so my thing is, you don't have to do that, homeboy.
Right.
So, you know, you made enough money. You know, you made enough money. You did enough. You know, why are you on my material?
Right.
You know, what's that about?
Then when you look at the two sitcoms where Katt Williams is claiming that Steve copied Mark Curry, I mean, it's similar aesthetics. So this is why, like, Katt Williams in this interview did a lot of views and it was potent, was because it appeared that Katt Williams was telling the truth about a lot of things. Katt didn't just stop at Mark Curry. Katt would also attack how Steve Harvey did other people wrong, and he would also say, Steve Harvey wants to be a movie star. He could never really pan out to be a movie star, which is why he's jealous of other people who became movie stars. And he always tried to downplay it as if he didn't want to be a movie star.
Then you ask him, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good over KB and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You would have to have range. I played a lot of characters, 60 movie roles. I'm not playing Katt Williams in there.
I don't know, Katt. We might not let you drink anymore. The way I mean, we ain't even got.
I'm not fueled by alcohol. I've had a sip, less than you. This is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Bro. Steve Harvey was never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash.
So what I'm understanding is that Steve Harvey is not being his true authentic self. He's basically copying people's personations and personalities and how they talk and their stories, and that make a bunch of people mad because it's just like, why are you gonna copy our stories when you can make things different? You don't have to copy, bro. If you have a twist onto your own style, your own finesse, your own charisma, your own talk, they might want you for something. You know how many country movies there is? Country movies, bro. If you would have just acted yourself and stopped copying people because you're not getting a role, or if you would have just gone, what's it called? Go on audition for a role, bruh. You might have landed a hit. You could have gone somewhere and tried to go get an audition. If you didn't even get picked, if you didn't want to, if they would have called you, bruh, Katt Williams is basically saying you didn't even try. Excuse me. You can't crash out on Shannon Sharpe. You gotta crash out on the people that is talking bad about you. If you're doing something wrong, like the person that shot 5 people for 2 watches that got stolen. Bro, this is what I mean about some people that don't know how to use common sense, bro. Bro, I didn't know there's 30,000 auditions of different movies every year in Hollywood. Bro, that's amazing. You're telling me you can't land one, Steve Harvey? Come on, bro. That's every year, 30,000? Bro, you don't get one, you could go to the next. You don't get another one, you could go to the next. And bro, you never know. Country movies? Bro, come on. You was running a game show, you telling me you can't get one? Come on, bro. Stop playing with me, bro. For real.
And doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that think like a man. Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history. That Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made all lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about.
Steve will address Katt Williams in a way, but it would feel like the majority of his issues is with Shannon Sharpe. Now, his logic is, listen, if you have a guest on, and the guest is talking about your friends. Now, I don't know how close Shannon Sharpe and Steve Harvey was. I do know that Steve Harvey did do Shannon Sharpe's podcast before Katt Williams. Steve Harvey was one of like Shannon Sharpe's bigger interview. I think at that particular time, Steve Harvey was the biggest interview on Shannon Sharpe Club Shay Shay before Katt Williams came on. But nonetheless, though, right? Steve Harvey believes that Shannon Sharpe owed him the respect of shutting down the conversation when his name came up. Which, if you're gonna give Steve Harvey like that respect, then you kind of have to give that respect to other comedians because they will ask, "Hold on, Shannon, you shut the conversation down when Steve Harvey came up, but you didn't shut it down with my name, and now you have more problems on like your hands." So if that's the case, you then you damn near shouldn't do the interview then, right? Because then Kevin Hart could ask you, "Hold on, Shannon, like why you shut it down with Steve, but you let him, like go off on me."
You can't have a podcast, let somebody come on your show and talk about your friends. I agree. Okay, you got a podcast. Y'all got a guest on here. And he starts slamming Fred. He knows something about Fred happened in the past, would lie or not, and just start slamming Fred. Y'all got to shut that down. Yeah. Because this your brother. You got to protect him. And you got to protect the brand. They don't do that no more. So you come on my show, you spread all these lies about some people that I call my so-called friends, and I just let you sit there and check it. And because your podcast had so many views on that right there, your next guest is the same type of guest. Because now you want your money to be made off clicks and views at somebody's expense. Well, now guess what? You got to pay for that. Because once you put it out in the universe that I want clicks and views, the universe does not differentiate. It just gives you clicks and views. So now, here they come the rest of them. And now you got clicks and views.
That's true. It's like how you ask God or ask anything that you worship out here. You ask for something, you do something, it's just gonna look at you like, okay, you want this, you did this. Now, if that come with troubles, or that come with karma, or that come with things that you didn't expect, that's not me that's not me to help you. I gave you what you wanted. Now, the other things that you didn't want, you're gonna have to figure that out on your own. Drama, beefing, people arguing, people wanting to throw hands, people wanting to shoot at each other. You're gonna have to deal with that. If you don't want to get in the between of all of that, if you don't want to get in between of all of that, you're gonna have to figure out what you're gonna need to do. So that's not that. I didn't tell you what I said about Osam. The last video, I told you I don't care if he come and starts talking about, oh, some YouTuber out here trying to talk about this and that. I don't care. I said what I had to say. You don't like it, that's your problem. I'm telling you to have common sense. I'm saying the things you're doing out here is stupid. You don't like it. I don't care. Here's the thing. Moral of the story. Steve Harvey is 100% correct. Because you get what you asked for. Now, the other things you didn't ask for, you didn't expect, you're going to have to deal with that. You were speeding down the road. The cop pulled you over. You weren't expecting for him to pull you over, but you was expecting yourself to be speeding a whole lot. You get pulled over, you get the ticket, you have to pay for the consequences. That's what I'm saying. People need to start. The people that don't use, I'm going to stop saying people because we got generalities. We got some people, we got many people, and we got people in between. The people right here don't use common sense, and the other people right here use common sense, and the other people in the middle use it sometimes and don't use it all the time. So the people right here that get into this category, need to start using common sense. For real. For real. It's going to save you a whole lot. That's what arguments, that's what friendships, that's what relationships, that's what things you're doing out here in the world that you can't figure out, but you know it's right or wrong. Needs to, needs to, Monty, needs to.
My question to that though is, there was a podcast, and there was a comedian who talked about you, and you waited a while before ever responding to Katt Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. This is what I said. Bro, you know how long this has happened? Steve Harvey, you know how long had this happened? Bro, this has been months. And you're now talking about it. Where were you? That means it didn't affect you for that period of time, for a whole long time. And now that it's affecting you, bro, you too late. You lost the battle. You can't talk about it now because it didn't affect you back then. Why is it affecting you now?
But when you responded, it felt like there was a lot more vitriol to your response than it was all of the initial accusations. Why do you think the response to what you said was so different from what he said on Shannon's show?
When you say vitriol, what you mean?
The social media fodder was upset with you for the way you finally responded to him.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned his height and what you could do if there was ever an altercation. They said they felt like what he said about you was true because of the nature of your reaction.
Oh, well, see, first of all, I ain't really good at social media, so I didn't even know that was out there. But they can, like, really kiss most of the corners of my ass when you say stuff like that.
Bro, stop lying, bro. You was talking about that you're not really with the social media, but you just said you have 9 million listeners and followers. What is you talking about, bro? Do not lie, bro.
First of all, man, let me say this.
I don't know the relationship between Shannon Sharpe and Steve Harvey. So I would need to know the relationship before I could tell you if Shannon Sharpe owes Steve Harvey some type of respect or a shutdown. What I would say though, there are industry friends and there are real life friends, right? Mm-hmm. If an industry friend, let's say we're cordial, right? He do YouTube, I do YouTube. You know, like we talk probably once in a year. That's an industry friend. Now, do I owe that industry friend to shut down every conversation that pops up about them? I don't. No. What I do owe them, though, is the respect for me not to talk trash about them. What I do owe them, though, is the respect to give them a heads up. Hey, man, this dude was on my podcast. He said this about you. It's coming out. I owe you that respect. But do I owe you whenever a guest open up their mouth to talk about you? Nah, hey, bro, nah, chill, bro. You can't talk. No, hell no, no, hell no, bro. No, I don't owe you that. Now, if you're my real life friend, if you're somebody who I grew up with, I hang out with every day, your op is damn near my op. So if you come on, you know, like you could say your 1-2, you feel me, like say your piece, but when you start getting into trying to disparage, trying to tear down, trying to murder my friend's character, I gotta shut that down. And that's just out of loyalty and respect. That's you know? True. Now, Steve Harvey came on a Pivot podcast, like on some like Kumbaya, Mamet Gandhi type stuff, right? But when he was on the Earn Your Leisure, as he just referenced, Steve Harvey was on violent time. Steve Harvey was talking about, man, I'm gonna knock you out when I see you.
Ass hater who is, and you'll never have a hater that's doing better than you. Always know that. Don't get off the wall to dress some pity any ass boy who ain't got shit going for himself. Now you done stopped your climb up on the wall so you can come down here and talk to his little punk ass. Don't do that, man. I stay away from it. Now, do I want to? Yes. Because I'm a human being and I'm hood. Now, I used to be a fighter, and I still got hands. They slow, but if you get up on it real close, I can still knock your monkey ass out. I just don't have the quickness I have. But I still know how to turn my hip and shift that weight, and I'll knock your short ass out. I'll shoot your perm straight out your head.
The stuff with Mark Curry, that's verifiable. You could kind of go on the internet and see that Katt Williams is telling the truth. But the other stuff with Bernie Mac and other people that he included Steve Harvey, or claiming that Steve Harvey lied about being homeless. I don't know. Only Steve Harvey would know if he was homeless or not. But if Steve Harvey is saying that Katt Williams was bastardizing his story and Katt Williams disseminated falsehoods and lies about him to 90 plus million people, if I was him, I'd probably want to tussle or shoot the fair one over that too. I'd probably want to rock a couple of jaws if that's me, okay? Now, I'm not 68 years old, so I don't know, all right, what my mindset would be at that particular age. Bro, at 68, I could give a damn what anybody has to say about me, bro. Bro, I'm trying to live and die at that point, bro. But me right now, nah, bro, like I got to see you. So at that point, he was mad. Now it looks like Steve Harvey is kind of off that. And he would try to lowboy Katt Williams moving forward, but he would also say that he's open to a resolution and you know, he's open to talking to Katt Williams and squashing it.
And I probably, see, first of all, when I said that, I was on stage at Earn Your Leisure.
Mm-hmm.
I was really just joking. I slap you, perm, all this. I was just in front of.
I hate when people start lying, bro. Bro, you wasn't joking, bro. You was not joking. Now, the people that were laughing in the crowd, they may have thought it was a joke. They was laughing because they thought it was funny. But you wasn't laughing. You meant it for real. And if you was probably joking, my G, you wouldn't say it on there. You would say it on the internet and laugh and say, haha, I'm playing. I'm not really going to knock you out. But if it did come to that and we had to be in the ring, then I would knock you out. But I'm just joking. You wasn't joking. You was being for real. You was being for real. I don't know why people all of a sudden they get scared and they start lying. It's just like, bro, stop it. You was being for real, bro. You was serious. You was serious.
A whole lot of people. I was really just joking. I don't really, if I had a chance to talk to Katt about anything, I would just ask him what's wrong. Just what's wrong. Let's go to that. Listen to me, man. Just because a person sits on the show and don't hesitate or say or and speaks eloquently, that don't mean it's true. That just don't mean it's true, man. And I probably shouldn't have said anything. Mm-hmm. That's a regret I have. I really shouldn't have said nothing. Cause we not in the same league, dog. We shooting at two different baskets. I shouldn't even have said nothing. And so really, man, I think I would apologize to him if he took offense to what I said. I was joking, but I would apologize to him. And like I said, if I had a chance to sit down with him, I would just say, hey, man, what's wrong? But you got to look at the whole tone of the interview. If the whole tone of the interview is what everybody else ain't, what everybody else ain't got.
Bro, you should forget about the whole thing, apologize what you said, and move on. And then after you move on, when y'all sit down and talk, ask him, hey, after you apologize for saying that, say, hey, bro, on that Shannon Sharpe interview, what did you mean about this and that about me? And he would explain it, and he would be like, then you could be like, well, I don't think this way. And if he wants to apologize, he gonna apologize. Then y'all say bygones be bygones and move on. But I think it's over the years of what you've been doing that other people have been complaining about, and you haven't had the time to sit down and say, oh, shoot, I did that, I'm sorry. So now that they're telling you on different people's podcasts, instead of you to hit them up and say, I'm sorry, you want to come out here and say, let's sit down. Look at the concept of what is going on. Oh, this and that. No, bruh. You're supposed to say you apologize. Because they feel this certain way. Bro, you're not going to come home every day and be kicking the dog on that's next to the couch that's just sitting there doing minding his own business. Keep kicking him. And then he going to look at you like, well, he don't like me. So then the next time you try to pet the dog going to look at you, growl at you, be like, get away from me. He growl at you and say, get away from me, by just barking at you and you leave him alone. The next time he see you come back from work and you don't kick him and you just touch and rub him, he going to be like, okay, I'll accept your apology. For real. You gotta starting with apologies first instead of saying, look at the concept of what he did in the interview. No, bruh. You need to look at what they're saying about you. Think about it. Say, damn, I did that. I'm sorry. Hey, can we squash this beef? Can you at least apologize for what you said in the interview? You apologize for what you said in the interview. I already apologized for what I did. I'm not going to do it again. But you have to apologize for what you said in the interview because that really hurt me. Boom, boom, boom. Move on. For real.
What everybody else doing. I think that's kind of like hate and jealousy. And hate and jealousy is a form of grief. You're grieving because obviously all them people you talking about have something you either want or are something that you ain't. And you're grieving. And the funeral becomes the podcast. So now let me roast all of these people.
Maybe it's my algorithm and what I watch, but I wouldn't say that Katt Williams and Steve Harvey are not in the same category. Like, I wouldn't think that Katt Williams is like way beneath Steve Harvey for Steve Harvey to say that, right? Like, I don't feel like that's the case, right? Like, I feel like when it comes to Katt Williams and Steve Harvey, in terms of the culture, Katt Williams and Steve Harvey are on the same level. Maybe Steve Harvey feels like, yo, I transcend Black culture. I'm on Family Feud. I'm in a whole different ball game than Katt Williams, so I don't need to respond.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, man. But at least he's willing, to squash it with Katt Williams. But that's my thing, though. How are you willing to squash it with Katt Williams, but you still got a problem with Shannon Sharpe, Do y'all feel like Shannon Sharpe did something wrong? Do y'all feel like Shannon Sharpe owed Steve Harvey loyalty? Let me know in the comment section, okay? And if you're still watching, click on this video here.
Man, I think Steve Harvey need to really check himself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, man. Here's the thing. He wrecking himself right now because he's not really checking. If I say that you copied my persona, copied my life story, you're supposed to really check yourself on if you really did that. And if you did, apologize. Not say, oh, but you gotta look at what he said on the podcast. He was jealous and that. Jealous for what? You did something wrong, my G. This is why I always be telling people when I always get in a little problem with them. If you did something to an individual, they're going to complain. People don't complain for no reason. They don't got the time. They don't got the energy to do all that. They only complain when someone did something to them. That's about it. And if you're the type of person that complain when nobody did something to you, then what type of person are you? You like mixing up, stirring up trouble? I'm asking you, what type of person are you? You like stirring up trouble, huh? You a bad boy. You a bad girl. You like doing it, huh? Well, let me tell you something now. They're going to bite you in the A one day, and you're going to wish you didn't do that. But that's just you. But yeah, back to the moral of the story. Katt Williams was just expressing what other people express over the times. Steve Harvey just felt very hurt by Katt Williams because of the way Katt Williams presented it. And how the dude on the podcast for Pivot told Steve Harvey, you waited so long to even respond about the whole situation. Till now, why you do that? Is it because you didn't feel the certain type of way during that time? Is it because now you want to say something when you got time? Bro, it's been months. And on top of that too, why are you attacking Shannon Sharpe? Shannon Sharpe, like he said, and how I feel the same way. I don't know the relationship between you and Shannon Sharpe, if it's good or bad, if you guys got history, but I'm just saying, you can't control what a person does on their podcast, especially if a guest is talking reckless about you. They can only ask questions, hit pinpoints, Q's and P's to see, hey, was it really that bad? Did he say sorry? Did y'all meet up somewhere where it should have been, where the beef should have elevated or got squashed? He can only ask those questions because he doesn't know. He just interviewing Katt Williams. Katt Williams expressing what he's feeling like and what's been going on. Steve Harvey need to go and crash out on Katt Williams, not Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe did his podcast, did what he had to do. He didn't ask what's his name, Katt Williams, to start talking bad about you. Katt Williams just opened his mouth and start talking bad about you. He's not talking bad about you. So you getting mad at Shannon Sharpe for the views and clicks. No, he didn't ask for that. He didn't ask for that. He interviewed someone that was popular on the show. They came and got interviewed, talked their piece, and they said some few things about you that was bad, and he moved on with his life. So, same thing with you, Steve Harvey. You talked about Katt Williams on Pivot and this and that. Katt Williams now might do an interview and start coming after you instead of the Pivot and say this and that, because it's just common sense. You're not going to go after somebody that could have shut it down. You have to go after the person that was talking about you. Yes, he could have shut it down for you, but why is he going to shut it down for you when he don't know what's the relationship between you and Katt Williams? You want to know what the relationship is with you and Katt Williams. That's for you to go squash that beef with Katt Williams. He just interviewing the person coming to talk on this podcast. If I want to open my mouth right now and start talking bad about 12, or start talking about things that I don't agree about with BLK or the pride flag, that they're gonna have to come after me about that. Now, I'm not saying that I don't agree with BLK or the pride flag. I'm just giving examples. I support y'all. I love y'all. I support y'all. I'm just giving examples. Now the thing is, if other people in the streets too, and this is why I stick so heavy on the streets, because if they could just go outside, have problems with each other, settle it with hands, knees, and legs, we would have no shootings. But everyone want to do violence. So the fact that you was like, oh, I'm gonna swing and uppercut him, it might be slow, but I still got that weight on me. You didn't have to say all that. That's uncalled for, Steve Harvey. That is uncalled for. That's uncalled for. And then start saying, I shouldn't have said it. I apologize. But we gotta look at the demographics of what he said too. You're not really apologizing if you're gonna say that. That's between you and Katt Williams. The podcast for Pivot and Shannon Sharpe don't need to know. You got a problem with Katt Williams? Go deal with it with Katt Williams. Not the podcasters telling them they needed to shut him down. Or they needed to do this. Because they could have shut you down too in Pivot too. But they didn't. They let you talk. They let you have your time. So with that being said, potentials. If you're new, subscribe. Sneak Game Potentials. Like the video. Comment down below what you think of the video. And yes, share it to whoever. Family, friends, cousins, brothers and sisters, and exes that you had in the past, and hopefully not have in the future. But also, here's the thing. If you haven't done so, but you need to do so now, hit that bell for more notifications, and you can also Sneak Game. I love y'all so much. We are so close to 400. As soon as that giveaway hits at 400, like 402, basically. I don't know. Some people, they might be like, oh, we hit 400. I'm on subscribe. Yeah, I know. Some of y'all be playing. I know. Some of y'all be playing. But yeah, 402. Because I was like, okay, 400, but someone's going to be like, unsubscribe. No, 402, you know, so we make it valid. Hold it by the stance and make it valid. Yeah. When we get up there, we're going to do a giveaway. But this has been another successful reaction video. And it's your boy Sneakywesti or Sneakywesti, however you want to say. We still appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next reaction video. Yeah, man, I'm telling you about that boy Steve Harvey, man. He really got a problem with Katt. You gotta go talk it out with him. Go squash the beef with him. Don't be firing up on people on the podcast and telling them, oh man, you know, they should have squashed him down. No, bro.
Got an attitude, what you better say, so I ain't mad at you. For sure. I'm a fuck, I say, but on my baby popping that Adderall.